Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am so excited to have this chat with the beautiful Jen. She's amazing. She's a photographer, she's my client, and she's also a coach and a colleague of mine and a leader in the industry. And I'm so honored to have her in my world and to discuss the transformations that she's been able to create in the coaching container with me. And I'm just also really excited to allow her to inspire you guys. Whatever your goals are, your dreams are, your ambitions, as long as you just decide that they're for you and then go after them with every little bit of energy that you have inside of you, you can accomplish anything that you want. And Jen is a perfect example and a shining example and a leader of this for you. So welcome, Jen. So happy to have this chat with you today.
Thank you. Thank you. That was such a great intro.
So now I'll let you introduce yourself. What do you do in the world?
I am a portrait photographer. I specialize in women's portraits, making them feel and look beautiful through our portrait experience. And I'm also now a business coach for photographers. Thanks for you for pushing me in that direction. Previously not doing that before coaching with you.
Yeah, I love that so much. And talk about what you loved that we did in the coaching together, what you were able to accomplish, because it's been extraordinary, the transformations in just this first round. And we're headed into a second round of coaching, which is so exciting. I can't even imagine. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of what's possible. And in the second round, my mind's already blown with what we've been able to do, like making money while you sleep. And so much more. We're just going to keep stacking and stacking and scaling, and I'm just so pumped to have this conversation with you. So I know that in the beginning of hiring a coach or looking for a coach, a lot of people have fears, they have hesitations, they have objections, all sorts of things go through their mind when they're kind of getting on the phone with different people. And so I just want to touch base with you, and go over what were your sort of hesitations or fears, because I know that you've worked with other coaches before. So when you were looking for a coach at this stage, what was kind of going through your mind at that time?
My biggest hesitation was one, it was quite a large investment. It's the most money I've ever spent on myself ever.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it twice with you. So, which is actually a really empowering feeling though. After once kind of I went through and you helped me through a lot of those fears as well. And the other big hesitation was that I have worked with other coaches in the past, and a lot of them, the majority of them have always been other photographers. And I always saw myself doing either more than them or I wanted more and just different. So I wanted a different perspective. But the other coach that I worked with, that was not a photographer, it ended up being this horrible experience just because she didn't see the value in what I did or what I wanted to create and how I wanted to scale my business in that certain way. So I was hesitant going with a coach who didn't have obviously experience running their own photography studio. But you put all of that, my worries at ease, just in our first initial phone call. It was super powerful and I was hooked right then.
So then what do you think helped you to push the button or say yes to yourself through all those fears?
Honestly, having you see kind of the vision where I wanted to take my business and my life. And when we had our first conversation over the phone, it was obviously a scary number that you threw out there. But I knew that I trusted myself that if I put in the work, I would be able to see the results. And I think the biggest thing was just having you, because I'm like, I want to make $500,000 this year. And you're like, you can make $1 million. I'm like, so I think having honestly that just very small comment which was completely the exact opposite of the previous coach who wasn't a photographer, and that just that you saw the value in what I could create, or just more than what I even thought I could create. Because when I first started working with you, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to make 500,000. And now I'm like, I want to have a multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah, what a mindset shift, and I think that's the value of having good coaching, because not everyone understands how to expand people's visions. And that's a big reason why people pay for coaching, is because we want to expand into something bigger for ourselves. And we play so small sometimes because of our own internal stories and mindset blocks and roadblocks that we put in there ourselves. But when we have someone outside of ourselves holding a bigger vision for us and just holding a higher standard, and like seeing the possibility and playing in a bigger field, it's invaluable what that does. Because I mean, if you just heard what you said, it was like 6 months ago, how am I going to create 500,000? And by the way, you did that in half the time you did the year before. And now you're coming on here not even 6 months later and saying, okay, multi-millions, you know? And so think about all of the money that could have been lost if that one moment in time didn't happen. And this is the power of mentorship. This is the power of coaching. What were you looking to accomplish with coaching? Like, where were you at in your life? How are you feeling in all of the categories, like with your health, with your relationships, you know, with your business? Like, why were you seeking out coaching?
I wanted to scale my business a lot bigger. I always thought about coaching other photographers, but I just didn't think it was something in the near future, or it was something I wanted to think about down the road. And then you definitely gave me that push to do that. And I wanted to grow my business, having different team members, obviously make more money, and really just have someone there to help, basically like what you said, expand my vision of what was possible, because I know that mindset is such a huge thing, and it was something that I really wanted to work on, especially mindset around money. And that was a big thing too that we've been working on, is my money habits and my mindset around that, and just expanding my vision to what's possible with money and how I can attract money.
Yeah, and that's so important. A lot of people come to me wanting to create more wealth in their life, but then they end up getting a whole hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah.
It's like, we get to have it all. So wait a minute, like, what's the money without your health? What's the money without great relationships? What's the money without self-love? What's the money without, you know, everything else that you want, all the different categories of life? And I really want to touch on this with people, because you've been able to not only make the same amount of money as you did in a full year last year in half the time, like you half the time, but then you also got so much more time freedom, because when you came to me, you were working so many hours a day. And I was like, when we first started doing the whole time tracking thing, I'm like, oh my God, like, how is she even going? I don't even know how she's doing that. Like, and now you like work so much less because we transformed your relationship with time, your relationship with money, and they're so interlinked when we actually started to break that down. And so could you just describe now where you might have been before with your relationship with money and time, and how much you were working and your productivity, to like what it looks like now? Like, let's talk about that chunk, because I think this is one of the most valuable things that we have been able to do together, because there's no way that was sustainable before, you know, and you were experiencing bouts of burnout in your business, right? Like, you would have a really amazing high month, but didn't necessarily know how to sustain that, because, you know, it wasn't sustainable the way that you were doing things. So sustainability is the name of the game when it comes to working with me. And I really want people to understand how to manage all of it so that they can scale sustainably, not with this whole, oh my God, I'm going to burn out. Oh my God, I got to be the Energizer bunny, like, you know, on all the time. That causes adrenal fatigue and health issues over time. And it's just not like, what kind of life is that, right? When you don't have that balance. So tell me more about that with you.
I was working like a crazy person.
Yes.
I was very tired. I was finding I was having success in my business. It was the first time ever having a successful business. So I thought but I always related that to working really hard. So I was spending a lot of time. I think I was working like 5 or 6 days, sometimes 7 days a week, either with clients or doing stuff in my photography studio. And now I only work 3 days a week in my photography studio, and that freed up. I do 1 day a week of coaching, and I get a flex day to do whatever I want. So I'm basically only working 4 days a week now, and it is incredible. And I'm making double what I made last year, which is amazing. And the best part is that, because before, I am very inspired by when I'm feeling super motivated and I come up with really creative ideas. That's when I'm finding like a lot of like joy in what I do. And I just wasn't feeling that previously. And now I feel like that the majority of the time, and not all the time, but a lot of the time, I'm feeling in that like creative space. And that's honestly what attracts the best of a clients, and all more money and all that stuff. And you really taught me that, doing that and focusing on what you love doing and being in that space, and all that stuff will follow. And it's been a lot of fun and a lot less work.
Yeah, I mean, listen to that. More fun, less work, more money. That's extraordinary. What do you think helped you the most, though, be able to do that? Like, what did we do together that really helped that transformation?
I think there was a lot of mindset stuff around that working 24/7 isn't actually, obviously it's not sustainable, but it's not actually as productive as I think it is by just doing the things. I felt like I was very productive, but I really wasn't. And it was making me feel burnt out and tired, but I was just doing these things, which was obviously taking me away from family and my relationship and not being present. And then I was unhappy with that. I'm now unhappy with work, and now I'm just depressed and burnt out
Mm,
and frustrated. And I think it was like a lot of faith that if I just let these things go that I didn't need to do and just focus on, parts of my business that made me happy, and automate and outsource and do the things that I don't have to do to free up a lot more time. I think that was the biggest thing too, was automating, learning how to all your automations have been so helpful for my business. And now I'm teaching them to my own coaching students. So it's all full circle now.
yeah, I mean, honestly, do you remember that call where I was like, we were like a little bit of friction there, because you were totally resisting. You're like, no, 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 like this automation, I don't think that we can automate that. Like my business is different. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, trust me, let's go. I'm gonna hold you through this. We're gonna do this. And you went and did it, but I think you were like really resisting that. But when you did it, like now, just a few days ago, you're in my inbox and you're like, yeah, like that automation, way back when we set up, I got one of my biggest clients pay up front from that automation that we did in my business. And I didn't have to do anything. Like the automation did it for me, basically. So there's so much power in that. And there's also so much power in having a powerful coach be able to push you in a very kind, loving, but bold way. Like this, we are gonna do it. Like I never tell my clients what to do, but we came up to that collaborative answer on the call. And so having someone outside of you, like when we're afraid or when we have resistance in doing something, just hold us like to that standard is so powerful. Because if we didn't do that, like I don't think that was like the pivotal moment in your business where it just cascaded all the other automations behind it that now hold you so that you're able to have all that time off, so that you're able to scale even exponentially more, right? And then now a lot of these automations with your courses and programs like are able to help you sell while you're sleeping. So let's talk about that, because now, girl, you make money while you sleep, which is the most amazing feeling. So tell us more about that transformation.
So since working with you, I started offering coaching. We started out doing one-on-one, and then I had my first online workshop, which was a huge success. And then I just started creating my first course, and I put it out there, and we haven't even officially launched, and we've sold so many people have signed up for it. And every single night I've been waking up to new people buying it. And it's been so good.
Yes, I love that so much, because that was the goal, right? When you first started with me in the intake, because with all my clients, when they first sign on, we do like a intake process where they fill out all these questionnaires, and Jen filled out the business one. And one of pieces of her vision was to be able to make more passive income or semi-passive income. And so like I really pay attention to those things of what my clients really want in terms of their vision, and keep going back to that over and over again and seeing how we can, expand and implement those things. And so I really love that, because there's no better freedom than that. And I know that you took your daughter on a vacation this year. You were so proud of going to Disneyland and taking that time off for you and being able to treat her in that way that you want as a mother. And I think that's also really important to talk about, because it's not only the money that fuels those types of moments, it's the time off and the presence that you were able to have with her on that time off that really made that vacation worth it. Instead of being on vacation and always plugging into your business or always thinking about it 24/7 and not being able to actually have the safety that your business can give you when you understand how to have it operate and work for you while you're not working in it. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, how is your time off now? Not only like, do you have a abundance of time off, but like, how is it when you're in your time off? Are you present? Like, what's happening there? Are your relationships different? Like, how has that helped you?
So time off, I'm able to unplug now and turn
Mm.
off my phone and not have to worry about it. Like the time in Disneyland with my daughter was so nice. I didn't work once and I was like 100% fully present with her. Okay, and the best thing was that was my highest month in business this year was when I went to Disneyland and took that time off.
Yay, just
I
busting those
totally
old
love money.
mindset things.
Yeah.
Because we had like a mindset thing earlier that, we work through, which is normal for all business owners, right? Like to think like, oh my God, I'm going to have my biggest month in business and I'm going to be burnt out from working so much, because a lot of business owners equate time and money, and actually they don't have to be interlinked, as you're seeing now. It's quite the opposite if you just decide and then actually understand the skills to implement and the right things to do. Because I also see some people that are entrepreneurs, they don't understand the right things to do, and then they're wasting their time on other things that aren't going to give them that freedom. So I think that's also another valuable piece of working with an entrepreneur who has many businesses, who understands different business models, so that you can have that different perspective and outlook on things. For you, deep down inside, like your favorite transformation or accomplishment while working together?
There's so many. I think the mindset thing has been a huge thing because I've been able to apply it obviously to my business, my money, my relationships with my family and my daughter and all the different areas of my life. And then also time management has been a huge thing, and learning different skills, and I guess mindset also around time. That was a huge thing too, because I always felt like I didn't have enough time to do anything, which is a huge reason why I was working so hard, because I felt like I didn't have enough time to get all these things done. But I'm a lot more productive and less, and I think that's the biggest thing. And just new tools and knowledge around and building my business and what's possible, and just the mindset around that has been huge. And your knowledge around energy is really awesome to learn more about. And that's something that I've been becoming a lot more interested in. So I always love it when you have all these crazy things about energy. And I'm like, oh, I had no idea. Tell me more.
Yeah, what Jen's referring to in energy is not just what you guys think. It's not just energy, like I'm going to drink a protein drink and get my diet on point to get energy, or I'm going to go work out with my trainer. Like, we're talking about energetics of success, which is a big thing that not a lot of coaches understand. And this is where is a big skill set of mine, right? So I use a lot of energetics in my businesses, because when you can learn the energetics of success, you get to work way less. You actually become a magnet and you attract opportunities and money and clients with ease, and you don't need that hustle, right? Like, sure, you can hustle and get to high levels of success. We see it all the time. I did it. I used to do it. I literally had adrenal fatigue for like 10 years of my life running on my businesses in this way of hustling and working all the time. And sure, you can get there, but is that the most ideal way? Is that the most fun way? Is that the most fulfilling way, healthy way, energetic way? No. This is the part of success that I really love, because productivity and time management and automations and all those things are amazing, but those are like the easy things. It's like the mindset and the energetics around success are like where we actually go deep and transform at like really rewiring your brain, rewiring your energetic field around you, so that you can start to have the things that you want easier, right? Without having to do all the effort. I've seen your energy shift, because we went through a little bout in the business where it was like you were up leveling kind of fast. And sometimes when we're quantum leaping like that, the subconscious mind does a lot of funny things. And like, we had a little period there where it was like, okay, like maybe like a little stall out or a little hiccup or a little wobble in energy. But then we did the energy work and transformed that. And like now, over the last, I don't know, when was that? Like 2 months ago or something? I mean, like that happened. And now you just, ever since then, when we started to do that, like you've just been on fire. Like after that, and all of this new inspiration is coming through. I mean, all the ideas and the creativity are just unlocking at such a different level. So your biggest paying clients are coming in to you and you're just like always in the boxer, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? So you're doing that and we're starting to get that really good on a good stint. So tell me more about that.
I think you kind of said it good. I was up leveling fast. And I had like a huge mindset thing that held me back, and it kind of came out of nowhere. I don't really know how it happened or when it was. I just started feeling like very scared and had a lot of fear came up around all different parts of my business, maybe because I'm growing all these different things and now, more money, more expensive, more things. And yeah, I freaked out a little bit. And that's why Voxer was so good then too, because I was able to let you know about this stuff and you're able to coach me through that before our next coaching call, which made the next coaching call we had that much more easier because we've already talked a lot about through all of that stuff. And I think a lot of it was just going back to what we originally started talking about in the beginning, was focusing more on having faith in the energy and trusting in myself that it'll all be okay. And I started meditating again, which has been an on and off thing and I haven't really loved it very much, but I committed to doing it. I have my meditation in the shower and then all the good ideas come.
Oh my God, girl. I love it when you come in, you're like, a good idea in the shower. I'm like, oh yeah, she's in the shower. It's so good. Let's talk about your success habits, because you've adopted new self-care routines. I remember in the beginning of starting coaching, looking at your time schedule and when you were tracking your time, and I'm like, where is it that you have time for yourself? And you're like, I don't. So let's talk about some of those success habits, your self-care routines, money habits. I know that we rearranged a lot of your, not just the mindset around money, but your relationship with money in general and your money habits. So can you tell me more about just the habits that you've been able to adopt?
Biggest thing was taking that day off during the week to focus on making it like a flex day where I had time for myself. I had time to look at my money. That was a big thing. Was I was kind of like a head in the sand person, and money came to me, but I really had no idea how much or if it was staying. A lot of the time it wasn't staying, it was going. So being able to have dedicated time to look at my money, to sit with it, to, figure out an actual plan about what I want to do with it. And then talking to you about my fears around money or all the other things that, come up when all of a sudden you realize all this stuff is going on and maybe you're ignoring a lot of things that you shouldn't be ignoring. And but it's been that's been probably the biggest thing, is tracking my money daily, figuring out, I always know exactly how much money I made that month, year to date, all that stuff. So now I know, and it's just been helping me be more organized and more motivated, a lot more motivated to make more money too. And I have the self-care days, which are great. I love my massages.
Yeah. Who doesn't? And the money habits, and I have a wealth management system that I teach my clients, and I help them to get really clear on what their money visions are, and that's also, I think, what helped you, Jen, to expand your vision from like, how am I going to do 500,000 this year to, yeah, we're on our way to multi-millions, because if we don't pay attention to our money, if we don't have money habits, if we don't understand, and have that vision, it's so hard to play a bigger game, because we're just going to pull money goals out of thin air. And I see people do that all the time. Oh, this person has this much money coming into their business, so I'm just going to have this money goal. And it's like, well, why? Like, why do you want that? How are you going to manage that? Like, what are the beliefs we need to adopt for you to believe that you can create that level of wealth? There's so much to wealth consciousness to unpack. And I think that's a ever evolving thing that we keep doing, like, because it's layers, it's like an onion, and every layer that comes out, like, there's new levels, new devils, that I like to say. And every new level of money that you see coming in and wealth coming in, and there's new things to work through all the time. I mean, right now I work with $110 million earner, and he has mindset stuff that we have to work through too. It's like, it's no matter how much money that you create, you're always going to have things that we need to work through in terms of mindset. So I think that's the power of coaching in general. And I know for me, like there's no way I would have been able to create the level of wealth that I have in my life and the businesses, grow them and scale them to the point that I have been able to if I didn't have my coaches. Like I believe in coaching so much. And I'm not just saying that because I am a coach. I hired coaches and had mentors well before I even became a coach myself. And so I think that's the power of mentorship. And for those of you who don't know, when we say Voxer, what we mean is it's an app that I communicate with my clients. And basically we chit chat, you know, we have these conversations almost on a daily basis when my clients are going through things where, you know, they want to work through fears or hesitations or mindset things, or we want to celebrate. Like there's so many celebrations that we do. And I think it's just so fun because I really want my clients to feel like we are in it together. We're walking together, like we're doing life and business together. We're not just, you know, waiting for that call, you know, every other week. And we're able to work through so much stuff in between. Like Jen mentioned, we're able to move on our calls so much faster because we actually talk more often than just, you know, an hour here or there. What was different to my program? Because I know you've been in many other coaching programs from other people.
I love Voxer. I love having that access to you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's super valuable. So yeah, Voxer has been a huge thing, and I just find that it moves our book calls, like you said, that much quicker because I do like to take action. So I'm a fast mover when I'm ready to go. So I like being able to move fast and be at that high paced. And then the video feedback lately on my landing pages have been really helpful because I'm now creating all these new things in my business, which need all new sales funnels and landing pages and all the things. So having a second set of eyes on it has been really helpful and makes it so much easier. And then obviously, like I said, all your knowledge around automations and systems and just all the things that you can teach me that I had no even idea that you could do. Like, oh, this is genius.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know till you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something really valuable to mention is the business feedback, because we get stuck in our own box as business owners when we're creating, you know, sales funnels or landing pages or ads. You know, we're about to hop on a half a day call to create all your ads and stuff like that. It's just so valuable for a business owner to have someone else like look at what we're doing, because we can't see what we can't see. And, you know, to make sure we're on brand and to make sure that we're portraying the message that we want to portray, to make sure things are, you know, as highly converting as they possibly can be, especially from a mentor who has implemented these things, right? I own a marketing company as well. So I understand like how all the different marketing pieces work, you know, Facebook ads, Google ads, you know, SEO, all the different components that you would need to market your business. It's valuable because I've seen so many different ads and so many different ways people have done it, and really know how to implement highly converting things, as we've seen, because your sales page is selling your course, your brand audit course, while you sleep for you now, which is so powerful.
Amazing.
Yeah, like there's no better feeling than knowing you can make money while you sleep.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm in the tub, ding ding, I get a sale. I'm, you know, out to dinner, ding ding, I get a sale. I'm sipping martinis on the beach, ding ding, I get sales. I'm sleeping, ding ding, I wake up to all these sales. I mean, honestly, this is something that I worked really hard in my life to be able to create for myself, and it's something that I really enjoy so much. Like, I think that's the one thing I enjoy the most is when my clients start to make money like that, because it just the possibilities at that point become endless.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, like literally we're at such a good phase for your business. So, okay. So transformations, to recap, have been your biggest month ever in business, which was what? Do you mind sharing what that number was?
It was, I think 65,000 or a little bit over that.
Yeah. So that's extraordinary. Like some people don't even make that an entire year. And Jen was able to create that in an entire month. And then, you know, just making the same amount of money that you made in a year in half the time, working half the time, all those success habits, the relationship with money, the transformation and productivity, automations in your business, like adding a completely whole nother leg in your company, like not just in the photography side, like we opened up an entirely new kind of business underneath your business, which was the mentorship and education space, which is so exciting. So that leads me, like, there's been a lot of movement for you in a short period of time. So what helped you to do that? Like, what skill sets did we work on for you to be able to have that level of confidence? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna go, okay, I'm gonna be a mentor now, like, because you had a completely different identity, you know? So like, we've done a lot of identity work, we've done a lot of mindset work, but I think there's other skills there that we've worked on to help you have the courage to think bigger, to go bigger for yourself. So could you expand on that a little bit for us?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it was a confidence thing of me not, owning that I have this information that I can share and help others and have that confidence to be able to do that. So I think that through our mindset work, we really helped build that confidence, and you pushed me gently and firmly at the same time to do it. And I think also just obviously with your knowledge doing coaching and stuff to kind of help start, my vision of how it could work within my business and, what resonated with me and different things that I could do, and just allowed space for me to ask you all the questions and figure out what was right for me. And then I think that was the biggest thing, was figuring out how I wanted to execute it and be inspired to do, what I really wanted to do. And it's been it's been so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just like the confidence too, to again going back to vision, because you're about to launch something, and I know our last call, or maybe 2 calls ago, we were really diving deep into like, well, what if you played a bigger game with this launch goal? What if we were able to create $100,000 with this particular product that you're launching versus like 20,000, and just having a mentor to keep pressing your vision of like, well, why not more? Like, why that number, why that level of confidence? And like, it, even though you do have a mentor though, there's a skill set behind that you've developed to be able to say quickly, oh yeah, okay, all right, yeah, sure, I was playing small, let's go for this. And then you literally go out and then you do the thing, and you nail it. So how is that, how are you able to do that? Like, what is that skill set that you are implementing to be able to do that?
I think the biggest thing is just taking action and not letting fear kind of drive your decisions. And that was, well, I've always been an action taker, but there's been more of a hesitation between fear and taking action. So it would take me longer to do it. But now I'm kind of in the groove of, okay, here's my fear, I'll say it out to you, we'll work through it very quickly, and then I just go and take action, and then it's no longer a problem at all.
Yeah, so that creates faster transformations.
Yeah,
because we're closing the gap. Like, we're able to close the gap between, picking up the fear and walking with it. It's like, I have this fear. Okay, all right, well, get the suitcase out, pack it in there, and let's go, girl. Like, we got this. And we're able. That's like how you've been able to move so fast. I mean, all the transformations that you've said are just jaw dropping in 6 months. If you really think about what we're saying here, that is extraordinary. I mean, like, people take years to build a business to 500,000, never mind you in 6 months, literally taking that and compressing the timeline to like doing it in half the time, having 65 plus $1,000 months. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it's so good. And we're only scratching the surface, like, that's even the more juicy part is, what the heck are we going to be celebrating 6 more months from now? I have no idea, but it's going to be good.
Yeah. It will be amazing.
I'd love to talk about the transformation that we've had in having better boundaries, because I know in business, oftentimes boundaries are the very thing that hold us back from being able to scale to new levels of revenue. Could you share a little bit more about what that looks like?
Boundaries, yes. Uh, it's been really interesting starting the whole new coaching part of the business, because I feel like in my photography, yes, there's always better ways to do things and tighten things up. But with starting something new that I've never done, then you start, figuring out what clients are pushing what buttons and what you're not okay with and what. So it's been very helpful to be able to have you to bring up these situations whenever they're happening and figuring out in kind of real time how I should handle this, and then what types of boundaries I need to put in place in my business to prevent this from happening in the future. So there's been lots of boundaries that's been put into place, especially within my coaching business.
Yeah, and then that also takes courage too to have those boundaries. And I know that we worked on some of that in the photography side of things, because there were things happening that were taking a lot of your time and mental energy when people were rescheduling and canceling things, and there was no like solid expectation sometimes with people, or even when there was, it was like they were crossing over that. And then just to develop the skill set of saying like, actually no, this is a loving act for both of us to have this, this communication about what's happening here, because this is not how my business is going to operate. And I think that takes, well, we know that takes a lot of courage and confidence to do that. And there were quite a bit of mindset shifts around that. We started to step you into more of like, well, how can I view my business as I am the CEO of a company? And how would Oprah Winfrey do it? What would she say right here? And then you having the courage to then go have those conversations is totally next level.
Yeah, and I think it's the clients respect me so much more with having those boundaries, because I remember when I was having those reschedules back to back to back and it was driving me nuts. Just a simple email, a firm email that sent out to all my clients for the rest of the year, and I didn't have, I don't think I've had a reschedule really since.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
that's been amazing.
it's extraordinary. And yeah, I mean, people want to treat us the way that we want to be treated, and but if we don't tell them or hold a standard with it, then it's really hard for people to do that. Sometimes they don't even know they're crossing a line or energetically irritating us if we don't like say something. So I really, really, really love that, all of that. So one last little question would be, for anyone out there that is thinking about working with me, because I know there are people out there, they're thinking about it right now, and they're just unsure and they're watching this for that reason. What would you say to them? What would you say?
Do it. Just do it. It's been the best investment that I made in my business. And that's why I decided to sign up with you again for a second round of coaching, because it paid off so well the first 6 months. And I know that I don't even know what's going to come in the next 6 months, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that. And it's such an honor to just be together for another 6 months and beyond. Like, who knows? I may be on payroll permanently.
I know.
You never know.
You're stuck with me now.
Good. There isn't a person I'd rather, have that relationship with. So thank you so much for inspiring me every day. You help me to go bigger as well, just with these conversations that we're having. And that's power of coaching and mentorship. So I'm so happy for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.